Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another show of El Camerino Deportivo, Sports Locker Room Show. Today's show will be about families, like my dad and me. Top 10 NHL families. Doctor, talk to us about this amazing topic we have for today.
We're going to talk about the most famous hockey family in history, or at least we're going to try to give you the best 10, top 10
hockey families ever in history of hockey. First, we're going to tell you guys to tune in to El Camerino Deportivo in YouTube, as well as on TikTok. And please follow us also on Instagram, El Camerino Deportivo with one O, and El Camerino Deportivo with two O's in Instagram. The first family, we will not mention these families in no particular order. For those of you guys who were wondering how we're gonna compile this list and put them together. So we were gonna mention all 10 families, but in no particular order. The first hockey family we will be mentioning is the Ho family. And why the Howe family? Because they had Gordie Howe, who is Mr. Hockey, who was a 6-time Hart Trophy winner and a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, and also was a legend across 5 decades in hockey. Yes, 5 decades of hockey, alongside with his son, Mark Howe. He is also a Hall of Famer in hockey. He was an elite defenseman, and he also had another son. Gordie Howe had another son that played in the WHA and briefly in the NHL, whose name was Marty Howe, who was selected number 51 overall in the 1974 draft. Why do we mention the Howe family? Because Gordie set the standard for greatness in longevity. That's the legacy of the Howe family. What do you think about that, Doctor?
That's very good. I think that's one of the greatest one in the history of National Hockey League. But what about the second one, Rory? Bobby Hull family.
The Hull family.
The Hull family. Bobby Hull was called the Golden Jet. He was Hall of Famer and a Stanley Cup champ, revolutionized the scoring. His son, Brett Hull,
who played for my St. Louis Blues,
he has scored more than 700 goals, 2-time Stanley Cup, and a Hall of Famer. His legacy is arguable with the greatest father-son duo in the history of National Hockey League.
I remember meeting Brett Hull personally in St. Louis, and it was a great guy to meet, as well as his father, Bobby Hull, who was a legend in the Chicago Blackhawks.
They were very friendly to us and to the fans.
And speaking of very friendly to fans, for those of you guys who love hockey, you guys know that definitely hockey is the actual sport who has the most friendly players everywhere. You can get to meet players all over, and they're really friendly. In the third family that we're going to be talking about will be the Sutter family. The Sutter family had 6 brothers play in the NHL. Brent, Brian, Daryl, Dwayne, Rich, and Ron. They also had second-generation players like Brandon, Brody, Brett, and others have NHL experience. Their legacy, it's because it's the most prolific family in the NHL in sheer numbers and impact. Why? Because they were great players and also coaches. What was the fourth name on the list? The Esposito family. Tell us about the Esposito family.
The Esposito family, like you know, Phil Esposito is a Hall of Famer, 2 times Cup champion, former goal scoring record holder, and Tony Esposito is also Hall of Fame goalie, Vezina winner, and Blackhawks legend. His legacy were both dominant in their respective position, as you know.
Speaking of that legacy, Esposito was also in the team with Bobby Hall in the Blackhawks. So that's another added bonus of the rivalry that the Blues used to have with the Blackhawks. The fifth family that we have is the Stahl family. Eric, Jordan, Mark, and Jordan Stahl all reached the NHL. All of them. They have Eric and Jordan are both Stanley Cup champions, and their legacy is tremendous size, skill, and longevity as a brotherhood in the NHL.
What about the next one? Richard family. Maurice Rocket Richard, 8 times Stanley Cup champ, first 50 goal scorer. Henry Pocket Rocket Richard holds records with 11 Stanley Cups. I don't know if any other hockey player has that. Do you remember some?
I would say the legacy of the team of the Montreal Canadiens is the biggest legacy in the world in hockey history, because the legacy that they had in the Richard family is that the Montreal Canadiens became royalty and pillars of the French-Canadian hockey. That's why Henry Pocket Richard is one of the greatest in history of hockey. We have the following family. Which family is it, Doctor?
Is the Gretzky family. Can you tell me something about Wayne Gretzky?
Wayne Gretzky? Well, I can tell you, we met him in St. Louis when he was the actual head coach of the Phoenix Coyotes. Great human being, overall great guy. Also, the great one, holds nearly every scoring record. It's a shame that Alexander Ovechkin broke his goals record, but it was great meeting a great guy like Wayne Gretzky. He played for the Edmonton Oilers, the Blues for half a year. He also played for the Los Angeles Kings. He also played for the New York Rangers.
He was also 4 times Cup winner, Rory.
Yeah, he won the Stanley Cup with Edmonton. That's why I mentioned Edmonton, exactly.
And his brother, Brent Gretzky, has a brief NHL career.
And what's the legacy for the Gretzkys?
When stands along with his name elevates the family place in hockey lore.
And by that we mean, with everything Wayne Gretzky did, him alone makes the Gretzky family name in history and royalty. The next family that we will be talking about is the Niedermayer family. Scott Niedermayer, a 4-time champion, Conn Smythe winner, and a Hall of Famer. We also have Rob Niedermayer, another Stanley Cup champion, with his brother Scott. And their legacy is them winning as brothers in the same team. Now, Dr. Gonzalez is going to name a family that is synonymous with the sport of hockey. And by that, why will we mention this? The doctor is going to be telling us about this family and our close relationship by meeting this family when his kids were little kids.
The Tkachuk family, Rory. Keith Tkachuk has 500 more goals, one of the best U.S.-born powers forward. Their son, Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, all of them are National Hockey League All-Star and are team leaders. And his legacy are the modern generation of grit, skills, and leadership. What else can you say about that?
I can tell you that this is one of the families that has the most impactful, because I remember when we used to live in St. Louis, he actually took his kids to play hockey while we were watching the Blues practice from time to time, and we always saw Matthew and Brady also in Al McInnes's team, if you remember that. And everybody said that they were going to become something in the NHL. Speaking of that, I remember hearing that these guys were going to be drafted. Like when they were in about 7th, 8th grade, I heard in St. Louis that they were going to get drafted immediately after they would be done in high school and stuff like that. And it's true, because this family has had Keith Kachuk being drafted in the first round, and also we see his dad, not his dad, his kids, Brady and Matthew, they were each drafted in the first round. That's impressive in itself. One was drafted by Ottawa, the other one was drafted by Calgary, and one right now won the Stanley Cup recently with if I remember correctly, it was with Florida, and it was amazing to see these kids get this accomplishment. Also, they went to Chaminade High School, where a fellow alum in basketball, Jason Tatum of the NBA, used to study. So I congratulate Keith Kachuk, his family, for the continued success that his family has had in hockey, but also he has a daughter that used to play soccer in Chaminade High School. No, I mean in the school that his daughter used to go to. And the final family that we will be talking about is the Moore family, Doctor. The Moore family is consisted of Don and Mark Moore. Steve Moore also. They all played in the NHL. Their legacy is in history. Why? Because they're notable for their education and perseverance and unfortunate events that shaped NHL discussions. Doctor, can you tell us why we talked about families in this show today?
Yeah, because we want the young people, to be with their parents, go to games, and develop that family ties. That is very important at this time, at this present time that we are living. It's not easy for their kids to be out there where it's a world that they have a lot of drugs and other things going on.
And also, I want to mention, this is a topic that we talked to several people that have been telling us, oh, why don't you talk about NHL families, NBA families? We will be talking also about MLB families. We will be talking about horse racing. We will be talking about boxing, golf, tennis. Any statement you tell us, we will be talking about these in the near future, because we are here for you guys. You give us the actual topic, and we will actually be gladly interested in giving you what you guys want to hear in our radio show and on our YouTube show.
Well, thanks very much, and we'll see you in the next program.
See you guys later. Have a good one.